The message came without warning. No introduction, no signal code, no identity confirmation. It's just a short line of text, pulsing in the Galactic Council's main communication chamber. Stand down, or face consequences. The chamber fell into silence for a moment. Dozens of alien ambassadors turned their eyes toward the center hologram. The words glowed in white light, flickering faintly, as if they came from a dying star. An insectoid diplomat clicked its mandibles in disbelief. Is this from Earth? The central AI confirmed. The signal originated from the Sol system, more specifically, Earth's surface. No encryption used, no attempt to hide its source. Several alien leaders laughed. Earth was small, a minor planet with a short history in the galaxy. They had joined the trade network only 30 years ago, so they had no great fleets, no vast colonies, no legendary warriors. To most, Earth was harmless, just another young species eager to prove itself. But Admiral Vark of the Ninth Fleet did not laugh. His 4 dark eyes stayed fixed on the floating words. Something about them was wrong. The tone was too calm, too certain. And then there was the signal itself. It did not match any standard galactic transmission pattern. The AI was struggling to even process it fully. Hidden inside the simple message was an energy signature the system had never seen before. Vark stepped forward. I request to review the full waveform of this transmission, he said. The data played. A ripple in space, faint, but deep, like a shadow moving beneath an ocean. Vark's scales shivered. They don't have the capability to send this kind of signal, said one council member. Exactly, Vark replied. The council chair, a tall, crystalline being, tapped its staff against the floor. Enough of this. Earth has refused to follow council directives 3 times in the past year. They ignore trade sanctions, they refuse to hand over mining rights, and now they dare to threaten us? The Ninth Fleet will leave at once. We will remove their defenses, capture their leaders, and end this nonsense. Murmurs of agreement filled the chamber. Only Vark hesitated. But orders were orders. The Ninth Fleet prepared for departure within hours. Hundreds of massive ships aligned near the hyperlane gate, weapons fully charged, shields active. Crews moved with practiced speed. Many joked about how quick the battle would be. Earth's orbital defenses were a handful of old warships and satellites, nothing compared to the power of the Ninth Fleet, as the ships entered the Sol system. The first scout vessel moved ahead, sending back real-time visuals. They saw Mars, empty, dusty, silent. They saw the asteroid belt, unchanged. Earth was ahead, blue and green, clouds drifting lazily over its surface. It looked peaceful. It's peaceful. The scouts sent another message. No visible defense fleets. Approaching orbit. Seconds later, static filled the channel. The audio feed carried a faint sound, a deep, low hum, like the vibration of a giant machine. The scout pilot's voice came through, tense. Something's wrong. Stars are gone, and then nothing. The signal cut off. Admiral Vark's jaw tightened. What do you mean stars are gone? He muttered to himself. He ordered 2 more ships to investigate. The second and third scouts approached the same area. Their video feed went strange. Stars in the background began to fade, like ink bleeding into water. Then the ships themselves flickered and disappeared. From every sensor, no explosion, no debris, just gone. On the fleet bridge, crew members exchanged nervous looks. Vark's second-in-command whispered, "It's some kind of cloaking tech, maybe?" "No," Vark said softly. "Cloaking doesn't erase stars." The Ninth Fleet held position for an hour, scanning, no results. Every probe sent toward Earth either vanished or returned blank data. It was as if space itself was folding away in that region. Then a voice spoke over opencoms. Calm, human, and unmistakably cold. "You were warned." The message carried no source signal. Every ship in the fleet heard it at the same time. The words were followed by a single tone, low, steady, almost like a heartbeat. Vark opened his mouth to respond, but before he could, The stars around the fleet began to fade. One by one, distant suns winked out. The void thickened. The crew panicked. Sensor readings went wild, distances shifted, gravity readings spiked, space coordinates twisted into nonsense. The fleet's AI screamed error messages in every language. "Full retreat," Vark roared. But it was too late. The forward ships flickered, broke apart into threads of light, and dissolved into nothing. Entire battleships vanished silently, without explosion or fire, just erased from reality. The last thing Vark saw before his own ship's sensors went dark was Earth. Still turning slowly, oceans glinting in sunlight, completely untouched. And then silence. Back at the Galactic Council, the fleet's status display blinked for a moment, then went blank. No wreckage reports, no distress calls. The ninth fleet's name simply vanished from the database, as if it had never existed. The council chamber was quiet. Someone finally spoke. "Where is the fleet?" No one answered. The AI simply said, "No data." Somewhere, deep in the black between stars, a single echo of the last transmission still lingered in the council's archives. "You were warned." And the galaxy began to wonder if they had just made the greatest mistake in their history. Council chamber felt colder than usual. It had been 3 days since the Ninth Fleet entered the Sol system. 3 days since they were last seen. No wreckage, no distress calls, no life signs. Nothing. The Galactic Council's AI repeated the same phrase every time someone requested an update. No data. In the shadows of the meeting hall, whispers spread like fire. Some suggested a technical malfunction, impossible on so many ships at once. Others whispered of darker possibilities. Perhaps the humans had allies, hidden deep in uncharted space. Perhaps the fleet had been pulled into another dimension. Admiral Vark's name was still on the list of active personnel. But his locator beacon showed no coordinates. It was as if he existed. Nowhere. The council chair slammed its crystalline. Staff on the floor. Enough waiting. "We will send a reconnaissance group. 6 scout craft, maximum speed. Find the Ninth Fleet and report back." The recon pilots were handpicked from the best across the galaxy. They joked about hazard pay, but their eyes betrayed unease. Everyone knew the rumors. Everyone had heard the last, broken message from the Ninth Fleet scouts. "Stars are gone." Hours later, the recon squad slipped through the hyperlane into Sol space. The transmission feed streamed live back to the council chamber. At first, everything looked normal. Mars, the asteroid belt, the distant shimmer of Jupiter. But when they passed Saturn, sensors began to fail. Navigation systems spun in circles, showing random coordinates. Pilot 1 reported visual anomaly ahead, light patterns inconsistent with Starfield. The Council's AI analyzed the data and hesitated before speaking. "No known phenomenon matches this description." The anomaly grew. Stars in the background began to dim, as if a curtain of black was sliding across them. One pilot whispered, "Feels like it's looking at us." Then, a flicker. The first recon ship simply vanished. No explosion, no debris. The pilot's last breath was caught in static. The others turned to retreat. But something invisible was pulling them forward. Space itself seemed to bend, stretching them toward the dark. Pilot 2 screamed. "It's not a weapon," and was gone. The remaining ships activated emergency jump drives. Only one made it back. The survivors' craft drifted into Council. Space with no power and no lights. The pilot, a pale, trembling amphibian, stumbled out and fell to the floor. He spoke just one sentence before collapsing into unconsciousness. They erased space itself. The words hit the Council harder than any weapon. In the days that followed, panic spread. Some planets cut off trade routes to the Sol system entirely. Others began moving fleets closer, preparing for war. But a few leaders remembered Earth's first message: stand down, or face consequences. And those leaders were afraid. While the Council debated its next move, a new problem emerged. Unidentified bursts of energy began appearing across the galaxy. Tiny, sharp spikes that lasted less than a second. At first, They seemed random. But when translated into basic numerical code, they formed 3 simple words. Do not enter. The bursts always came from the same location, the edge of Earth's solar system. Some called it a warning. Others called it a challenge, and somewhere, far from the Council's reach. In the cold black between Jupiter and Saturn, a small human station monitored every incoming ship. Its crew spoke quietly, watching their screens. One asked, "Do you think they'll listen this time?" The commander didn't look away from the data. "No," he said softly. "They never do." The Council's main hall was louder than it had been in years. Every ambassador spoke at once, their voices rising in panic. The humans are hiding a weapon. They destroyed the Ninth Fleet without firing a shot. They're bluffing. They have nothing. The chair tried to restore order, but fear had already taken hold. Rumors spread faster than truth. Some said Earth had discovered an ancient alien device. Others claimed they had learned to bend space itself. No one could agree on what to do next. Finally, the decision was made. A covert operation. The Council would send spies, not warships, to Earth. They would land quietly, gather information. In return, before anyone knew they were there, 4 agents were chosen. Each was an expert in stealth and survival. They traveled in a small, unmarked craft, surface-coated with light-bending material to make it invisible in space. The journey to Earth was uneventful. No strange anomalies, no disappearing stars. As they entered the planet's orbit, the view was calm: blue oceans, green land, white clouds. To calm, they landed in what used to be New York City. But the streets were empty. No humans walked between the tall buildings. No vehicles moved. Even the air felt still, heavy. The agents spread out, scanning for life. Their devices detected no human biosigns, yet the city looked untouched. Food on tables, lights in some windows, clothes hanging on balconies. It was as if people had vanished mid-step. "Where are they?" whispered Agent Core. Another agent pointed toward the ground. "Did you hear that?" At first it was faint. A low, deep hum, coming from somewhere far below the city. It was steady, mechanical, almost like breathing. The team followed the sound to a subway entrance. The station below was dark. As they descended, the humming grew louder, vibrating through the walls. Their scanners began to fail, showing distorted readings. Temperature, gravity, and even time seemed unstable. Agent Core activated his communicator. "Command, we found the floor beneath them shuddered." A ripple passed through the concrete like a wave across water. The humming became a roar. Before they could react, the entire platform glowed with a strange blue light. The ground opened, not like breaking rock, but like liquid pulling apart. The team's ship, parked above the city, was dragged down into the glowing gap, as if the Earth itself had swallowed it. The agents screamed as they too were pulled into the light. Their voices were cut off instantly. Back in Council space, the agents' life signals blinked once, then vanished from the system, just like the Ninth Fleet before them. The Council now had more questions than answers. And one terrifying truth was becoming clear: whatever Earth was hiding, it wasn't just defending the planet, it was hunting intruders. The Council chamber had never been so silent. Weeks had passed since the disappearance of the reconnaissance team. No transmissions, no debris, no trace of life. The databanks showed nothing. Every sensor, every probe, every scout sent toward Earth had vanished without a trace. And then a message arrived. It was simple, short, unencrypted, and unmistakably human. "Stop looking, or the galaxy ends." Every screen in the chamber displayed the message simultaneously. No sender, no coordinates, no warning lights. Just those words: panic. "Spread," leaders argued. Some wanted immediate retaliation. Others pleaded for diplomacy. Admiral Vark's disappearance had been dismissed by some as a minor loss. But now, with human words flashing across Council tech, the fear became real. The chair, a crystalline being who had seen hundreds of wars, tapped its staff on the floor. "Prepare a message. Demand explanation. But keep the fleet in place. Show them we are not afraid. A communications team tried desperately to send a return signal. Hours passed, but the transmission never reached its destination. Bounced back, distorted, or disappeared entirely. Then, without warning, the chamber lights flickered. The stars visible through the transparent walls of the space station began to fade. Not just near Earth, the entire view of nearby star clusters blinked out, as if someone had turned off a cosmic switch. Council members froze. A calm, human voice echoed through every communication channel simultaneously inside their minds. Even you were warned. You ignore the weak. You mock the small. You will learn what patience costs. The words were not angry, not even urgent. They were cold. Sensors across the chamber began to fail. Gravity readings fluctuated. Walls seemed to ripple, like heat waves in a desert. Some members fainted, others screamed. The chair gripped his staff. Explain this. This is impossible. The voice replied, Impossible is only what you believe. We are not just on Earth. We are everywhere you touch us. Panic turned to chaos. Counselors activated emergency protocols, shields, and escape pods. But alarms indicated that reality itself was being altered. Corridors bent, doors shifted, and time readings jumped. Erratically. Outside, the Council's fleet tried to engage sensors. Ships blinked in and out of existence. Entire squadrons vanished before weapons could even charge. One ambassador finally whispered the truth aloud. They are rewriting space itself. Another voice, younger and trembling, asked, Why? What do they want? The answer was silent at first. Then the calm human voice returned. To survive. To exist. To remind the galaxy that strength is respect. You will not find us by force. You will only learn by listening. And with that, the stars returned. Sensors normalized. The fleet that remained was intact, though shaken. The message was gone, leaving nothing but an uneasy void where it had resonated. Council leaders stared at one another, written across their faces. They had faced hundreds of enemies, monsters, and tyrants across the galaxy, but nothing like this. Earth had done what no one else could, erased fleets, sent human voices through the void, and bent reality itself to deliver a warning. The chair spoke slowly, his voice trembling. The humans. They are not just a planet, they are something else. Outside the chamber, somewhere over the calm blue planet, satellites silently blinked. Earth waited, patient, calculating, and the galaxy realized with a shiver. They had underestimated humanity in every way. And in the darkness, between stars, a single thought echoed across the minds of every council member. Do not provoke Earth. The council could no longer wait. Fear had settled like a heavy fog across every planet under their watch. Every fleet commander, every ambassador, every intelligence officer whispered the same thing. Do not underestimate Earth. Yet the chair refused to back down. He called an emergency summit and announced a final attempt at a direct approach. Send the Grand Envoy, he commanded. This time, we will not send fleets. We will negotiate. We will speak. Face to face. The Grand Envoy was the galaxy's most skilled diplomat, known for resolving conflicts between entire civilizations with words alone. They were precise, fearless, and clever. But even they felt a ripple of doubt as the envoy prepared for departure. The journey to Earth's orbit was eerily quiet. No anomalies, no fading stars, just the pale blue planet waiting below. When the envoy's craft entered orbit, the first surprise struck. Earth did not respond through conventional channels. No signals, no transmissions, no greetings, only silence. The envoy attempted all frequencies, sending trillions of calculations for communication, yet nothing returned. Then, the craft's visual scanners detected movement. Not on the surface, but beneath it. Something massive shifted beneath the oceans and land masses. Commander, the envoy spoke to their crew. Do you see that? The crew did. Giant structures, geometric and precise, pulsating with blue energy, stretching beneath the Earth's crust and oceans. Cities hidden, unseen by satellite, cloaked by some technology beyond imagination. Entire continents seemed to conceal machines, towers, and grids of power. A calm voice echoed through the envoy's comm system. Not angry, not threatening. Just human and unmistakably authoritative? You seek to speak with us? The envoy swallowed. Yes, we come in peace. The council wants dialogue. You already know what we think of threats, the voice replied. The envoy hesitated, choosing words carefully. We understand. But the galaxy fears escalation. We seek understanding, not conflict. There was a pause, long, silent, stretching across the void. Then, understanding requires observation. Suddenly, every screen inside the envoy's craft filled with images, not of Earth, but of the Ninth Fleet, reconnaissance teams. Countless vessels the Council had lost. Ships were shown in motion yet distorted, some frozen in midspace, others bending, stretching, fading in and out like ghosts. The envoy's mind raced. You didn't destroy them? They are elsewhere, the voice said. Not dead. Not harmed, simply moved beyond your comprehension. To survive and to learn. Their arrogance was a lesson. The envoy felt a chill. You could have destroyed them. Why spare them? The answer was simple. Clear, terrifying, because we are not killers. Not without reason, but we are protectors of ourselves, of our world. You are not ready to understand what that means. A sudden pulse of energy shook the envoy's ship. Gravity shifted. Time seemed to stretch and compress. The crew held on, eyes wide. Stars outside, bent, distant suns, curving like liquid. Then, as suddenly as it started, everything returned to normal. Calm blue oceans, clouds drifting lazily. The envoy's ship unshaken, untouched, intact. The voice spoke one final time before. Vanishing from all channels, tell your council, Earth is not to be provoked. The Ninth Fleet is a warning. The galaxy's next mistake will be its last. The envoy stared at the planet below. The first time they understood. Humanity was not just a fledgling civilization. They were a force unlike any other. The Council had almost provoked a catastrophe it could not survive. Back at the Galactic Council, the envoy reported everything. Leaders sat frozen, unable to respond. Even the chair, a being of crystalline patience and experience, could only whisper, They are beyond anything we imagined. Somewhere, across hidden continents and beneath oceans, Earth waited, silent, watching, calculating, patient. The galaxy had learned its lesson the hard way. Humanity was no longer to be underestimated. The Council didn't sleep that night. Not a single leader rested. Every fleet commander, every intelligence officer, every diplomat replayed the envoy's message in their minds. Earth is not to be provoked. But fear often breeds boldness. Behind closed doors, a faction of the Council met secretly. They argued that humanity's power had to be tested, not just observed. If we hesitate, one ambassador hissed, Earth will grow stronger. Soon it will be untouchable. We must strike or risk total domination later. The chair disagreed. Strike blindly, and the galaxy dies. You forget what we have seen. They bend space itself. They control what you cannot understand. To provoke them is to invite annihilation. Yet the faction persisted. Using stealth technology, they began assembling a strike force, smaller than the Ninth Fleet, but faster, more precise. Ships armed with experimental weapons, capable of warping through hyperspace in seconds. They would attempt to enter Earth's orbit undetected. This time they believed humanity would be forced to respond directly. Meanwhile, deep underground in Earth, a human monitoring station buzzed with activity. Screens displayed star charts, incoming transmissions, and simulations of Council strategies. Analysts and engineers worked quietly, deliberately. One young officer leaned over a glowing table, pointing at a holographic model. They're preparing a strike fleet. We've predicted their route, their timing, and even their weapons configuration. The commander, a veteran with calm eyes, nodded. Good. Let them try. Let them learn that their arrogance has limits. But remember, We do not attack unless provoked. Patience is our weapon. Die above Earth. The Council's strike fleet slipped through the void. Sensors were tuned to detect the faintest human signature, but nothing appeared. No disturbances, no warning pulses, only silence. As the fleet approached orbit, the first anomaly appeared. Stars in the background flickered, disappearing one by one, then returning, as if blinking in and out of existence. Navigation computers glitched. Time readings fluctuated. Some pilots reported seeing their own ships vanish from the fleet registry. Panic began to spread. Commander Vark of the strike fleet tried to speak over the comms. Report, sensors failing. What is happening? Then without warning, the entire fleet was enveloped in a blue glow. Ships froze mid-motion, weapon systems jammed, engines locked. Pilots stared at instruments showing impossible readings, positions, velocities, even time itself no longer made sense. A voice echoed calm, it's measured human. You were warned. You seek to test us. You will experience your lesson. The strike fleet's vessels began to shift. Some were pulled into pockets of space outside known dimensions. Others simply vanished, leaving behind nothing but distorted energy traces. Communications cut out completely. Back at the Council, the panic was immediate. Data feeds showed flickering signals, the fleet, or what remained of it, disappearing one by one. The faction that had planned the strike now faced the unimaginable. Earth had done what they thought impossible. One ambassador turned pale. They didn't just defend. They controlled. Space itself, the chair whispered, almost to himself. In every move we make, they will anticipate. Humanity is no longer a planet. They are a force we cannot oppose. Only respect. Across hidden continents and deep oceans, humanity continued its watch. No celebration, no gloating. Only calm observation, ensuring the Council learned the lesson fully. And somewhere in orbit, the remnants of the Council's strike fleet drifted, caught in human design, waiting to be released, or to vanish forever. The galaxy had learned a terrifying truth. Earth did not wait to fight, waited to decide who was worthy of surviving. The Council's chambers were filled with whispers, debates, and fear like never before. Every fleet commander, diplomat, and intelligence officer replayed the strike fleet disaster in their minds. Entire squadrons, ships, and experimental weapons gone, just like that. And yet no humans had fired a shot. The chair called for an emergency meeting. The humans are not a threat in the traditional sense. They are something else, something beyond our comprehension. We must stop thinking like conquerors and start thinking like learners. But not everyone agreed. Some factions still whispered about retaliation, about testing humanity further. We cannot show weakness, one ambassador argued. Must understand our strength, or the galaxy falls into chaos. The chair's voice cut through the room like a blade. Weakness is respecting intelligence. Strength is recognizing when you are outmatched. Earth has already demonstrated both. Any further provocation is suicidal. Meanwhile, on Earth, satellites monitored the galaxy's council stations, reading encrypted communications and tracking fleets. Humanity had anticipated every move the Council had made, predicting the secret strike fleet weeks before it was assembled. A human strategist pointed to the star map. They still don't realize that their fleets are predictable. Even when they try to hide, they can't escape our models. The commander nodded. Let them believe they are free to choose. Our patience is our advantage. Every misstep they make teaches them humility. Then something extraordinary happened. Across council space, subtle but undeniable changes began. Stars flickered. Constellations shifted. Entire fleets reported strange phenomena, ships moving without propulsion, communications bending like sound waves through water, sensors showing impossible readings. It was Earth's way of demonstrating control over space without engaging in battle. A quiet warning, a cosmic display that left the galaxy shaken. The Council tried to respond, sending envoys, messages, even secret scouts. Every attempt failed. Communications vanished mid-transmission. Data disappeared from their systems. Even attempts to warp toward Earth were thwarted. Ships returned to their original positions as if space itself refused passage. In the council's chambers, panic had grown into awe. They are everywhere and nowhere at once, whispered. An ambassador, they control reality itself. The chair stood, his crystalline form trembling slightly. They are not just defending their world, they are teaching us patience, respect, and the consequences of arrogance. Back on Earth. The human commander looked at the holographic map of the galaxy, showing fleets, planets, and hidden movements. The galaxy must learn without destruction, the commander said quietly. We do not strike first, we only respond. And when we do, it will be absolute. And across the stars, the council realized the terrifying truth. Humanity had already rewritten the rules of power in the galaxy. No fleet, no weapon, no strategy could challenge them without consent. It was the ultimate safeguard, a civilization that could bend the cosmos itself to protect what it valued. The chair finally spoke, addressing the council. We have faced many wars, monsters, tyrants, but nothing like this. The humans are beyond fear, beyond threat, beyond understanding. We must respect them. We must pray we never provoke them again. Somewhere below the clouds, humans watched, silent, patient, and ready. The galaxy had learned its lesson, and humanity's answer would echo for centuries to come. Provoke Earth, and the consequences would be unimaginable. The Galactic Council had reached a level of desperation it had never known. Every diplomat, fleet commander, intelligence officer now understood one terrifying truth. Earth was not just a planet. It was a force beyond comprehension. And yet, they still hoped for diplomacy, negotiation, anything that might preserve their pride and their civilizations. The council called for a final conference. All representatives gathered in the largest chamber ever constructed in galactic history. Massive screens displayed star charts, fleet positions, and encrypted data from every known human probe. Silence filled the room. No one spoke first. Then, without warning, every screen went black. Systems across the council station flickered. Time readings jumped forward and backward. Sensors went haywire. And then, calm human voice filled the chamber. Not through speakers, not through channels, but directly inside every mind present. You have watched, you have feared, have failed to understand. Every representative froze. Not a sound was made, not a single hand moved. We did not strike first. We did not ask for war. We only warned. And you ignored us. You assumed the galaxy belonged to you. That arrogance ends today. Screens came alive again, displaying the Ninth Fleet, the strike fleets, and countless vessels from other corners of the council space, all intact, all untouched, yet arranged in formations that defied physics. Ships hovered, rotated, and moved in impossible patterns, showing control over space itself. You see, your fleets, they are safe. They are lessons, not punishment. You were offered understanding. You chose pride. Chair voice trembling whispered. They could destroy us in a moment. Every fleet, every station. Gone, yet they choose. Patience. Yes, the human voice replied. Patience is strength. Knowledge is power, and restraint is the true measure of a civilization. A sudden pulse rippled through council space. Every weapon system, every engine, every sensor failed. Ships blinked in and out of existence, then returned without harm. The council members understood instantly. Earth could manipulate not only space, but reality itself, and they did not need to use violence to assert dominance. You have learned your lesson, the voice continued. Do not provoke Earth. Do not underestimate its people. The galaxy must remember this moment. Silence is respect. Fear is not enough. And then the screens went dark. The voice vanished. Ships returned to normal, sensors stabilized, and the stars shone once again. The lesson had been delivered. The council was left in complete silence, staring at one another, unable to speak. Some whispered that the humans were not even fully aware of the power they held. Others realized that Earth had become the ultimate arbiter in galactic affairs, a civilization whose patience and restraint alone could command obedience. In orbit, satellites silently observed the galaxy. On the surface, humans continued their lives, unassuming yet aware of their place in the universe. They had not sought glory, conquest, or revenge. They had only answered a threat with precision, patience, and undeniable power. And the galaxy understood. They had provoked Earth, and the answer had left the Galactic Council in total silence. From that day forward, every species, every fleet, every diplomat remembered one rule above all others: do not test humanity. Earth did not boast. Earth did not demand allegiance. But every being who looked toward the stars knew the truth. Humanity was no longer just a planet. Humanity was the standard by which all others would be measured. The universe had changed forever.